Vivian?
So, we've been having some issues with the trash cans along Broadway, even just like in the tourist season with, people dumping household good and stuff, and, so I kinda was wondering if maybe you guys could help out in policing some of those trash cans out front and.
So for these weekends, like Fall Fest, Dart Tournament, Rodeo,
Yeah.
that one out in front of ours, we take care of. We also put 2 or 3 more out in front by our little outside little nook area. Cause we won't be using that for a bar for this, but we let people stand out there, and we also have, we pay not only the city to do garbage, but we pay the county to have a huge dumpster out back that's parked right between us and Angie's place. That is good because we can get that moved out on Mondays before it gets too busy. If they can get it on Mondays, which is usually our plan, but they usually wait till Tuesdays when she's working.
Yeah.
So we have enough to do that in front of ours, and I know everybody else kinda does that too. The one problem is the area of the Legion and the Betsy and the Fishtail, there's just no safe place to put a garbage, cause they don't have property of their own.
Right.
And same with a little bit in front of the Mint, they can't just set garbage cans on the state
Not on
property.
the street, but-
We have that advantage to set garbage cans out, so that's the one thing that's just, they could put more in the bars, and that's what they
Well, there's
do.
already receptacles in front of those.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they could like.
Yeah, we
line
could
them and
police
take
them.
out.
And I know they do help
Yeah.
take the bags out for the weekend,
Would
yeah.
probably help Eric and his team out a
If-
little bit with it.
It would be nice if there was a spare 1 or 2 we could put in front of the, you know, the Betsy Legion.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is a spare one that the city has, or if they'll just allow us to put a couple right next to it maybe, that aren't in any barricades or anything, or in any kind of wraps.
I'd like to pull the conversation back to the initial request. JB,
I love the idea. I want it to happen. I'm grateful that you're here early, and I'm thankful that you're talking about how to manage the parking process so that they're over surrounding public property instead of impacting businesses and residents. Frankly, I'm in favor of this, as long as we have your word that you're going to make sure that everybody's informed. These are the places that you're welcome to park. These are not the places you're welcome to park.
Yeah, and if the city has a map that we could show, and if you have any spots that you don't want us to park, we're gonna say no parking on Front Street for sure, no parking on Broadway,
Yeah.
for campers. Cause that's just.
obviously 90 to 95% of the issue.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely say that, and what's nice is the company 1080 who runs the dart tournament puts all this stuff in the rules, and they like to send stuff out ahead of time to the people that they know, cause they deal with these people 15 times a year. Most of these guys go to their tournaments, they're from Missoula, they go all over the state, so they know most of these people very well. So most of the people that are coming in have been people that have been here before. So we can tell them, you know, yes, there's spots for maybe 4 over here, not 12 or 15. Maybe 4, you know, maybe 5 at the park.
We're talking about 40 to 50 total units, right?
I don't even think it's gonna be that many. Now that we have a flex of Airbnbs and everything helps out a lot around here. But the hotel is already full. It filled up 2 months ago already for the tournament. I mean, the hotel's probably running at half capacity at all times anyway. So thank God there's some Airbnbs around here now that the people can get into. But probably talking maybe at the most, I would say 30 campers coming into the area, and a lot of them will go to Indian Creek Campground. But hopefully we can get another 5 or 6, maybe 10, just right in here, and then if we can put a few behind Cowles, down the street there. I'm gonna also talk with, Little Creek Lamb and everything to see if they can park a couple there on their lots. I don't want it to look like a trailer park.
We got
We can get a
room,
couple.
we got room for a couple behind the Mint. Lana wanted me to ask if that'd be all right, same situation.
If it's allowed in the city,
Yeah,
somewhere
and
where it's
they're-
off the
and they're in
way.
the alley, I mean, you won't be able to see them unless you go through the alley, so.
Eric, do you have anything to add at this point?
The only problem I can foresee is just maybe narrowing the ask to exactly where they're gonna go, or where they need to be. I can attest when I was compliance officer, there was a guy who was parked just right next to Heritage Park. The current mayor asked me to see if I could get them to move. He said, cite me because I'm willing to pay any ticket so I can just stay here. So, I mean, if we can maybe work with them a little bit and get, a spot, you know, maybe it's Heritage Park, maybe it's behind the Mint, maybe it's Cowles, but have a defined, this is where we're going and nowhere else. That way cause the other incidents, and I mean, just to back them up, the school thing, I was compliance officer at that time as well. That did turn into a big mess, but if we have it so that we have, hey, here's your spots you can go, here's the ask, I think we can make this work well, I do. So even maybe we put Holloway in there, cause Holloway has that restroom that they could use. I know it's not too convenient, cause it is a little jaunt for them, but I mean.
It saves them from driving anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already walking from our bar all the way down to the Mint, you know, just to travel for darts anyway. I mean, that's halfway across town.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them walk out to Indian Creek.
And that was that guy's point, he goes, me paying a fine is cheaper than a DUI, you know, so
Yeah.
so that was his point, so.
And if there's a map with, like, we have this spot for 3, this spot for 2, we'd be happy to even forward that on, you know, to them and say, hey, you guys rent the spots out however they want to, you fill them up and we just find out who's there. That would work good too, if there was a designated spot for a designated amount. We'd be totally fine with that.
Okay, council?
But some, you know, some of these guys are pretty good about behaving, cause if they create any kind of discontent, any of that, you know, they're kicked down the road.
Yeah, for life, yeah, banned for
Yeah.
life, so.
So they are, well, we've had the Mint 6 years and we've had one small altercation, but his teammates got him cooled down and it was averted. But they are I could say very well behaved for people that are on alcohol.
Are there any comments or questions from the public at this point?
I have a
Yes.
or comment. I just think that people.
State your name for the record.
Michelle Hildreth. Are the residents who live across the street from the park and near the park going to be notified of random people camping near their homes? Because as a parent, that would make me a little bit nervous, that there was intoxicated people camping next to my house. So maybe if I had some sort of notice or something, if the city's gonna allow that on the public property, I think the public needs to know that they're doing that.
And it is allowed now, just not for as many days, so that's something to do too.
You can park a camper on any city park right now?
Not on the park, but on the streets for
On the
up to a
streets.
day or
Okay,
two, or,
okay, so
Yeah.
maybe it's not.
Street
doesn't
edge
matter
park.
too much. But, okay. I was,
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, council, what do you wanna do?
I move that we allow the camping for the dart tournament people that weekend, and, I think it would be great if they worked with Eric to create areas from that.
Okay, is there a second?
There is, but can I make a small amendment? Can we amend it to not be Eric, but the city office, because Eric's got his hands in a lot of pots.
Absolutely. I amend.
Thank you.
Angie's language.
So it's been moved and seconded to authorize, camping around the park and other designated places in the city for the dart tournament, May 16th through the 19th. Did I get that summarized all right? With the city working to identify said parking spots. Okay. That's the motion and the second. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you.
I'll get a map here one of these days, probably the same one we use for the street closures would
Oh,
probably work.
I think Eric's on that.
Okay.
I got your stuff, buddy.
Perfect.
He's in the back.
So, yeah, well, I'll do this and bring it back so you guys can see it. I'll put the red down all the main streets, red down most of the housing streets, and just leave the parks open and put a quantity number and figure out if that works. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about them garbage cans later.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Spurgeon, you're up.
Yeah, we can police our.
Well, I'm Randall Spurgeon. Here's a little thing I made out for a garbage can. The gallons per day a person produces 4.5. I can't read upside down. So the problem is we have 8 adults using one can. And by Saturday, it looks like this. So, and the idea of it is, we've got Don and Mrs. Don, they're in their mid-80s. I could live almost with it, but when it overflows and it's in the alley and the cats attack it and the garbage gets spread. We got 8 people using one can, and national standard across the garbage business is how many per can, you think?
Just your time to shine.
Well, I want you to know your math. So it's actually 4 people for a 300-gallon can. We've got 8. So we just ask them for another can, and we pay for it, right? We get paid you guys get paid every month, so that's not a problem, but the garbage is in the street, so can we fix it? That's it.
Where is this?
You know where Orville's place is? I bought the house in front of Orville Riley.
No, sir.
It's that little
Do you
house.
have an address?
The alley
It's
entrance on B Street between Pine and Spruce.
Okay.
205 B
Sorry,
Street.
where was that?
It's
So-
the alley entrance on B Street between Pine and Spruce.
I've chased garbage, I've lived there 6 years. You had mentioned, there's other cans around, just go check. Well, I run a business, I don't have time. I need a can, put my items and be gone. So, I don't think it's that big of a thing, it takes 3 minutes. My family has city county garbage. That's another story, you guys can meet and talk, he'd probably give you a good deal on giving you their landfill over at East Helena. As you guys truck it to is it the Helena?
Actually, to clarify, we don't, the county trucks it.
Oh, okay,
The city picks up the garbage within the city limits,
right,
hauls it to the transfer station, where it is then transferred to the landfill by the county.
yeah, to Helena, yes, landfill. Me and Doug talked a little bit about it, but he had to go to Minnesota, but I was gonna bring it anyway, but. Overall in all, I'm tired of picking up garbage.
I appreciate that.
And it's to help the other people too, my neighbors are all good neighbors, you know, and they're dumpster diving or garbage surfing looking for a can. It takes 3 minutes, but you save, pick up a can and dump it. It doesn't take that much time when a truck pulls in and dumps it. But if he's gotta stop and pick up garbage and get out of his truck, it's costing you more time. Come here, garbage, you know, I mean, that picture there, what was there, 3 or 4 bags in front of it? And he's gotta get out of his vehicle, and that takes time. I used to run a company, 1,100 accounts, 30 drivers, time is money. So, but anyway, that's about it in a nutshell. Just,
Well, and in this shot, you can see there's another can down just a little ways, and it's full as well. But,
yeah,
um,
it's odd, the neighbor behind you built a garage, he has his can. The next one is, Caleb, he has his can. Then you get down to my house.
And this is yard waste.
Yeah, this was actually up that way, but they put it, if you remember, well, we'll try it that way for a while, and then, okay, you know.
And then there's big
but-
boxes that people haven't broken down and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
But,
that's about it.
If I could, Mayor?
Yes.
With Townsend Hardware taking all of our large collapsed boxes out to the transfer station, I don't think we need the second can behind us in Ernie's anymore. I mean, the boxes are 90% of our trash, and we're taking 90% of that in the back of my pickup at this point, so that your compressor's not having any troubles. Well, I can move that second, I got a skid steer, I can move that second bucket over to that other spot.
Well, there's
Eric,
Paul, thank you, Mayor. The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say, is, I think you hit it on the head pretty well there. You've seen the stuff that's not supposed to be in the garbage cans, in those pictures. What Randall doesn't know is last week I literally pulled a bunch of iron out of the can that's behind that alley. So, is there a problem there? Okay, maybe, but the week before, the cans did not look like that. That's the problem that we have in all the alleys all over town. Could there possibly be one there? Sure. Could there be an extra can behind my house? Absolutely. Could there be an extra one down over around the corner behind Mr. Truesdale's house? Absolutely. There's instances and cases like this all over town where suddenly 1 week's heavier than the next. I know he's gonna say it's heavy every week, but literally the week before that, the cans weren't overflowing. The week before that, maybe they were.
Depends on the
So-
time of the year.
Thank you. You hit it right on the head for me.
It depends on the time of the season.
So it's one of those things that if I just suddenly start putting cans out everywhere, I could be chasing cans everywhere. Could there be a problem there? Could it be something that maybe needed an extra can? Absolutely. But as soon as we just start putting extra cans all over the place, I'm gonna be chasing my tail with it. So
I asked you a month ago to do something about
And
it, and
guess
you
how
blew me
long-
off.
and guess how long I've been watching it before the month ago that you asked?
Well, then why haven't you done something about it?
Mr. Spurgeon, please direct your comments to me.
Sure, do something about it. I mean, you know, it's gonna be there. Do I take the garbage? In fact, my neighbor John picks up the garbage, his own garbage, and hauls it to the canister dump site because our can's full, his can's full. So he's accumulating garbage. He takes it on his own regard and takes it to the dump site. So there's time and money, T&M, gas, his time. He goes, Randy, don't we pay for a can? I go, they wanna play hardball about it. So I had 8 people sign that note saying, you know, would like to have a can. It's not that much. I mean, come on. That's all I have to say about it, and I thank you.
So if, Councilman Howick's offer is okay, shall we try that?
I'd be hesitant to. I mean, I got an extra can down the street because I don't wanna take his can for when in the future that can or Birdie might need it. Because they have proven that they do need those cans there, so.
Would
Lots
you
of
like me to
cardboard
buy a
burning.
can?
Wait a minute, Randy.
Okay.
Lots of cardboard that I was putting there that I'm not anymore.
Sure.
Based on what I know I'm generating, I can't guess for Birdie, but on what I'm generating, I honestly don't think we're gonna need the second can. In fact, we didn't have the second can to begin with. It's my cardboard load that was the cause of the second can. So I think that there's an opportunity here to test a theory.
Sure.
Nate?
In some of the pictures, I've seen a lot of cardboard like you were filling yours with. And grass, is that your grass allowed? Okay, so maybe talk to the neighbors and say, quit throwing cardboard and stuff and filling up our garbage cans. I don't-
That's probably
It's legal to do.
2%, but it is garbage. So when it overflows, should I just leave it in the street and let it blow? It's up to you, ma'am. I've been the garbage man in my neighborhood. I got elected, I guess. You know.
Can you pick it up a second time?
Ironically, I did that Monday, because I seen there was a problem, so I sent the truck over there and we took care of it Monday.
He did.
So a phone call here?
No,
No, what I'm suggesting is when the garbage cans, when the garbage cans are overflowing, call City Hall.
Saturday, Sunday morning, they're gonna answer. Not
Probably
hardly.
not till Monday.
No, that's right, that's what I need. It's usually full, man, they pick up on Tuesday, by Saturday and Sunday, but usually Saturday is full. And not every Saturday, like Eric said, you know, it's not every time, but, you know, it's happening. The weather's changed, people are buying more items, they're garbage. We're fighting the garbage, and I didn't move here to be a garbage man.
Right, we'll test this theory. Move that second can to that alley and see what we find out.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, I really appreciate your time.
Quick note,
Yes.
would you mind leaving the one that doesn't have a lid?
Sure.
From an industrial perspective, that's awfully convenient.
The garbage orders.
The next item on our agenda tonight is a certified backup operator position. I've been concerned for a little while that we have one certified operator for water and sewer systems, and that is Eric. And, while our two newer employees are busy studying and, to pass those certifications, those tests are not easy. They don't have to, they actually have 2 years, or one more year basically, to get those certifications. In the meantime, if something happens to Eric, we are in a world of hurt. As it turns out, Tim has maintained his certification, and we could essentially contract with him to be the backup.
Clarification?
Yes.
Tim Robert.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. I believe, is it Cascade? Cascade County has, is it City of Cascade?
City, yeah.
There is an individual who's been the backup operator for the City of Cascade for decades now. I learned that, and it seemed like we have an opportunity here to provide a little insurance. Eric's not in the habit of stepping out in front of a bus, but you never know.
That's right.
What are the specifics? Pay position?
I would consider an hourly amount based on the time that he spends. And at this point, I don't have that. I was mulling over probably the hourly wage that he had, an amount equal to the hourly wage he had when he retired.
And the payment of him to continue his certification?
He has chosen to do that on his own, cause it was that important to him, it was that hard won, so.
This is, are you seeking a motion?
I am
Mayor?
seeking a motion to do this.
Because it sounds like what we might need is a contract for us to review.
We can do that.
You wanna pull that in for the next meeting?
Yep.
Or is that too quick?
Well, I would entertain a motion to pursue a certified backup operator position with contract to be presented at the May 6th meeting.
Mayor, I happily move that we proceed with this investigation and the provision of a contract at the next meeting.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to pursue a certified backup operator position with a contract to be presented at the May 6th meeting. Is there any further discussion? Is there any comment from the public? Yes, Eric?
I would maybe ask that we don't delay any more than the May 6th. The reason being is there's a time frame for our operator licenses. And one thing that Tim actually needs to keep his license current is he needs to be linked to a system for his license to remain current. And we're coming up on that 1 year time frame where he hasn't been linked to a system.
Quick question?
Did we put it
Yes.
on the 29th? Did we have a public hearing that day?
That's an interesting idea. Is it just linked to the system, or does Tim have to log hours, like, kind of?
Just linked to the system.
Okay.
Yep. I might not want to get too rusty on me.
So there actually has been somewhat of a motion to amend the date in the original motion from May 6th to April 29th.
I have no objections.
And the second? Is there a second to that?
I'll second
amendment?
that.
Okay, first we'll vote on the amendment. It's been moved to amend the date of the contract presentation from May 6th to April 29th. Any discussion on that? Comment or discussion from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now the amended motion is to pursue, certified backup operator position with the contract to be presented to council on April 29th. Is there any discussion on that point? Comments from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. So Carrie, what we'll do then on the 29th, we have that public hearing on the growth policy. And then we will call a special meeting of the council for the purpose of, acting on this contract
Sounds good.
and budget. Okay. Next item on the agenda, Mr. Hildreth, Deep Creek Pizza.
Well, Montanans say crick, Michelle would say creek, so. First of all, just thank you for what you guys do. I know that, you usually know news is good news in your guys' world, and you probably get some news every now and then, but I just wanna talk about the water, the water project that's been going on in town. I feel like I'm a pretty good representation of the small businesses in town. I've talked to a lot of people about the frustration that's going on, so, I've talked to Mayor on the phone, I've talked to Eric in the street, I've talked to the workers on the ground, and I've talked to their supervisor, somehow got a hold of his personal cell phone number, which he was talking about, but, and it seems like nobody is responsible for, the poor execution, I would say, of that project. I'll just talk about my experience personally, and then I'll relay some other experiences of the business I've heard, but we got 2 letters from the company, boots on the ground here, that said we were gonna close, that they were gonna shut our water off, and we were not shut off either time, which means that my business shut down for basically a full day's worth of work, where I lost revenue, and we have employees that, I mean, Townsondites don't make tons of money, they can't afford to not work. So twice I was forced to close my doors, and I've talked to a couple people. That money, honestly, Michelle and I can pay our bills with that extra money that we bring in is the money that we do things like the PTA night, Bulldogs and Beyond we sponsored. We just helped out the 3rd grade teachers where their kids are gonna get a free pizza token. And so when we're shut down like that, as far as we go, it's like we suffer a little bit, our family does, but the community suffers. And then our employees don't make the wages that they're supposed to. The other thing is, on the 2nd day, I went out and talked to him, and I was like, hey, like, our water hasn't been shut off, you guys been shut off our water, and he said they were gonna again, so like, we didn't reopen. But he told me that, they had legally until 5:30 instead of the 4 o'clock that's clearly stated on the piece of paper. So even if they actually would've shut our water off, it would've been 4 o'clock, it would've been 5:30, which throws off, you know, that then we would've lost a full day's worth of revenue. The consensus around the town, I will tell you, well, the other thing, just really quickly, is I've talked to 2 other business owners, and they had the same problem, where they received notices and they weren't shut off at all, so they closed, they lost revenue, their employees didn't make wages for 0 reason. The consensus around town is that the businesses weren't even considered when all this happened. I don't know, like, everybody's told me that the city doesn't have a map of whose water is shut off when the mains are shut off, but I don't understand how we would do a project like this without figuring that out. It doesn't seem like it would be very hard to turn off a water main and then go talk to the companies for 5 minutes and say, hey, is your water on? No, okay, then you're gonna be shut off at this date, or now we know, and now we have a map. Like, it seems like there was just no foresight when doing that. The other thing is, there's businesses that are closed on, I can speak specifically for restaurants, there's businesses that are closed on Monday, and for some reason, their water wasn't shut off on Monday, and I'm sure there's more logistics than I'm aware of, but that seems like a severe oversight that we didn't involve those businesses and ask them when would have been a good time or a better time, or how to do it. I feel like there was some arrogance in the execution of it, thinking that those involved knew everything, without getting your business, like, if you have a collective mind, you're gonna have a way better view of what the ramifications, the pros and the cons of the execution of that. Also, just with our building, there's 2 businesses in there, 4 businesses, sorry, there's 4 businesses in our building, 2 residential areas. The only people that were ever notified was Deep Creek Pizza Co. So the daycare, who has to have water, legally they have to have water, was never even notified that their water was gonna be shut off. And then there's 2 Airbnbs that are in there that were never notified. Luckily, we own one of them, so we were at least notified, but the other one was never notified, and the residents upstairs were also never notified, so I don't know.
I wasn't notified either, I didn't really take a shower.
Yeah, I don't even
Fire
know.
hydrants, I think they were doing.
I don't know, that's the other thing, is the communication, no one in town knew what was going on, except for maybe people that were involved there, or people that were talking to but none of the businesses that I've talked to personally knew when they were gonna be shut off, or how long, or what was going on. I would just ask, I mean, I don't know what the financial responsibility, or who's in charge of this, or who was the point man, but I feel like the city has a financial responsibility to people that they shut down for no reason. I can't imagine any of you would be happy if you didn't get paid one day, for, like, you were just asked not to work for no reason, or your employer withheld money, for no reason. So, I don't know how all this works, I'm pretty ignorant in city politics, so I apologize about that, but I would figure that the city would try to make right, for what they did not execute very well, so. We started off, Michelle and I picked Townsend, we could have moved anywhere. We picked Townsend because it was an outstanding, like, everybody we met was outstanding, and I don't think that was upheld, through the execution of this water, project, so. I guess those are my comments. I don't know if anybody has questions, or if there's a resolution to compensating businesses. Like I said, there was zero reason for me to lose a day's worth of revenue in my restaurant, and I know for sure there's 2 other businesses that the same thing happened. So I don't think that shrugging your shoulders and saying, hey, that sucks is good enough to me.
Are there comments or questions from council?
If I may, Mayor.
Yes.
This is the second time this has been discussed in council. I'm the one that brought it up the first time. And my specific complaint was bad notification. We had a member of the engineering team here. They cited that their national standard, I believe is how we called it, was a 2-day notification. I said for businesses, that's not sufficient. In the end, nothing changed. I hate to admit it, but we're kind of at the mercy of the existing contract. That you are correct, this has been too often poorly executed.
I feel like that's a total cop-out by the city or whoever is in charge, that we just shrug our shoulders and, like, so where's the accountability? And if there's no accountability, then it's gonna happen again.
Angie, did you have a comment?
Well, my name's Angie Winthrop, and I own the bakery. I also had my water shut off twice. I did not have the same experience that you guys had.
Oh, okay, sorry to interrupt, but your water was active.